I still remember the day everything cracked inside me. The day I thought I had moved on, the day I believed the past was just a memory tucked behind the closed doors of time. It was a calm, bright afternoon, the kind of day where sunlight falls gently on the world, making it look warmer, softer, and more forgiving. I was sitting at my small coffee shop table, watching the city move, when I saw her. Sana. My ex's younger sister. Her eyes were the same, gentle, expressive, impossible to ignore. She walked towards me with slow steps, like every memory I tried to bury was walking right beside her. When she sat down and looked at me, her first words weren't small talk. They were a storm. She said, "Zara never stopped loving you, and neither did I." And in that moment, the entire world seemed to become very quiet. If you're watching this and believe in kindness, healing, and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Chronicles. Your support gives stories like this a life. Back then, years earlier, Zara was everything I thought love was supposed to feel like. She was warm like daylight, kind in the ways that weren't loud but deeply felt. We met when life felt simpler. I was working at a community art center, painting murals for schools and public centers, and she used to volunteer there during weekends, bringing books and crafts for kids. Love found us naturally, not in some movie moment, but in the gentle accumulation of small gestures. She would leave sticky notes on my lunchbox reminding me to drink water. I would walk her home even in broad daylight just to hear her talk a little longer. It was that type of love, the type where souls recognize each other before hearts do, but life is never that straightforward. My mother fell ill around the same time that work became unstable. Money became tight, responsibilities became heavy, and my patience became thin. Zara tried to help and she did everything right, but I felt ashamed needing her support. I convinced myself I was being a burden to her, and in doing so, I built walls where I should have asked for help. I distanced myself. I withdrew. I spoke less, smiled less, and eventually I let silence break the bond we promised would never crack. I walked away first, thinking I was saving her from the weight of my struggle, not realizing I was also walking away from my own light, my partner, my peace. Sana used to look at both of us with soft eyes. She was younger but saw more than we thought. Where we saw tension, she saw two people trying to love in the middle of fear. Where we saw endings, she saw beginnings that we were too hurt to notice. After we broke up, Sana kept her distance, out of respect, I guess. Time passed, seasons changed, and my life slowly stitched itself back together, but with a thread that never matched the original fabric. I kept functioning, but I never felt fully alive. So when Sana appeared that afternoon, the past returned as if it had always been waiting behind the door I refused to open. She told me Zara never stopped loving me. Even after I walked away, even after silence turned our memories into shadows, she held on. Sana said she would find my old letters tucked into her journals, the ones where I wrote about how I wanted to build a home with her someday. She would cry quietly while reading them, whispering my name into void spaces of nights where no one could hear her. She never blamed me. She just waited, believing maybe life would give us another chance. Then Sana's voice trembled as she said she herself had also cared for me in a way she never admitted. Not romantic love, but something deep, something protective, something that made my absence feel like a missing piece in her life too. She said she always hoped I would come back, not because Zara deserved to wait forever, but because some love stories aren't accidents, they're unfinished chapters. Hearing all that didn't make me feel proud or relieved. It shattered me. It brought guilt rushing through my veins like a river cracking ice. I looked at Sana and asked, "Why tell me now?" And her eyes lowered. The sunlight outside flickered between clouds, quietly dimming. Sana explained that life had once again changed. Zara had been through her own battles, loneliness, anxiety, dreams that didn't go as planned. But she was stronger now. She had started working with a small literacy foundation, teaching women to read and gain independence. She smiled again, she laughed again, but there was always a quiet ache in her voice when my name was mentioned. And recently, she had been thinking about reaching out. But she was afraid I had rebuilt myself into someone who no longer needed her, someone who had moved beyond her memories. Sana said she came to me because love isn't always about who stays, it's also about who returns. That evening, I walked through the streets of our old neighborhood. Daylight was still warm, giving everything a familiar golden calm. I passed the mural I painted years ago, a field of paper birds flying upward, and remembered Zara standing behind me with paint on her hands, laughing because she added a crooked bird just to see if I would notice. I remembered how easy we were. How safe everything felt before the world taught us to be afraid of needing each other. I reached her house. I didn't knock immediately. I stood there, feeling the weight of every year we lost. When Zara finally opened the door, she didn't look shocked. It was as if she always knew I would come back on some ordinary day. We didn't speak at first. Not with words. Our eyes carried everything: pain, regret, tenderness, memory. A love that never ended, only paused. We talked on the porch surrounded by soft afternoon wind. We talked about what hurt, what healed, and what we still feared. And there was no anger. Only understanding. She said she always wished I had believed she wanted to walk through my storms, not just my sunshine. I said I was sorry for thinking love means shielding someone from your darkest days instead of letting them be your light in them. We didn't magically become who we were before. People don't go backward. But we found a quiet, mature understanding, a peace that wasn't desperate or rushed. We agreed to begin slowly, not to rewrite the past, but to build something new from it. And Sana, she watched us from inside the living room window with a smile soft enough to break the hardest heart. Because her love was never about wanting to replace or divide. It was about wanting to protect the connection that shaped all of us. Now, when I look back, I understand something I didn't know when I was younger. Love doesn't end because people break. Love ends only when people stop choosing each other. And sometimes, when life offers a second chance, the bravest thing we can do is accept it. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Chronicles. Your support helps these stories reach more people who need them.